Welcome back to Sports on Tap. I'm your host, James Lane, with my co-host, Kyle Johnson.
Bob.
And my co-host, Ryan Fahey.
It's a big-ass coffee.
Thank you. It's the life I live. Actually, the Dippins girl made fun of me the other day. She said it was gross.
She goes, yeah, your coffee order is fucking disgusting.
Is it just
It's just
black coffee?
Yep.
Black coffee. It's
She's
trash.
gotta dick down on the floor with that one. That order.
It's just still trash.
He respects it, though. He respects
do.
it. You know what I don't respect? The absolute blowout that the Patriots had.
I was so close to
Oh my. What was the final score? 47 to basically -2?
No.
That's what it felt like.
Josh Allen doesn't know respect either. He disrespected us that game.
Oh, without a doubt. I respect for the ability of what that team has done and just every aspect of losing the Patriots could have done. There was nothing the Patriots did well besides Mac Jones, because that first pick was a dot. That was a beautiful throw.
It was. It really was.
It was just a better play.
It was you just kind of have to applaud what the defensive player did there. It was
Micah Hyde, right?
I
Yes.
don't remember who. Okay, I don't remember who made the play, but
Yeah.
That's a dot.
Yeah.
That is an absolute dot. Second one was tipped, could have been better, but like Mac Jones was working with guys that had stones for hands that game, besides Bourne.
Yeah. If I saw another dropped Patriots pass, I was going to, I think, kill myself right then and
I'm
there.
glad. Like I was driving to a casino for my friend's birthday, and I was listening to it, and I shut it off fairly early. No, like
It's 7-0. He's like, I'm done. I'm over this.
no. Actually,
He's like, I need some Nickelback.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because when they scored the first touchdown, I went, "Oh, that's game."
Game was
the
over.
way they scored it.
It was the second one for me.
The first, no, it was literally the first one for me. I was like, "That's game." It was just so easy. It was so.
It was
easy.
effortless all game. All game, Buffalo literally they did whatever they wanted.
The linebackers were slow. The receivers were dropping passes.
Wasn't it the first play Allen ran for like 20 yards, and I was like, oh.
It wasn't even Allen's running that frustrated me. It was that Singletary was having a day.
Yeah, I kept going. This dude is 5'6". What is happening?
Like they
hadn't ran the ball well all year, and we had the second best rushing defense in the NFL. That game was piss poor as far as
it just looked like the veterans on our defense did not know what to do. Like that was what held us together.
Yeah, and
they didn't know what to do. It was pretty upsetting.
This would be a game I'd be interested to rewatch in the sense that like, how did Bill Belichick because it almost felt like we got outcoached. Like their offense was.
I don't even know if it was.
I don't think it was out coaching. I truly think it was just the Bills outperformed.
We got out everything.
Oh well, yeah.
I mean, there's a clear talent gap between the Bills and the Patriots, and I was saying this to people at the bar yesterday. The Bills are like 2 years ahead of us as far as like building a team timeline.
I would debate even more.
At least 3. Yeah.
I would say 3 to 4.
That's what I mean. So like, to make it to the playoffs, to be 1 win behind them for winning the division. I mean, if we can sit at 10 wins and only improve from here, that's pretty fucking good.
If this is the baseline, then I'm okay with it. Especially with a rookie quarterback.
It's a win of a season.
Oh, overall successful season, like what we expected. We expected playoffs. We even said like wild card at best. They got wild card as best, and then they ended up getting smacked. I thought it was gonna be way closer, but
we looked like Pittsburgh last night.
Actually, no,
worse.
Pittsburgh scored.
Yeah, I would say. I think
so.
I would say I think they look absolutely worse.
Well, the Bills' defense is better than Kansas City's. I actually think the Bills are probably like the 3rd best team in the NFL, so they have a real shot.
The big thing that I think we saw here in this game was that the team has potential, but it is young and inexperienced.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do in that situation because they haven't been in that situation. I know Mac Jones was at Alabama and played in big games and won a national championship.
He also had a lot better of an offense.
Yes, and I agree with that. But also, it's like once you get to the NFL, this is the top tier echelon of professional football. So it shows that, like, okay, I'm glad they got there because now they have the experience of, wow, like, this is what it is. This is what it takes. This is not easy.
It's about drive.
It's about power. Welcome to the XFL.
God.
I always forget that he literally bought that 20 minutes before the pandemic.
I love it. No, he bought it right after.
Oh, it was after.
Yeah.
Who bought it before?
It was Vince McMahon.
Oof, Vince. Rough one, buddy.
Swing and a miss. But yeah, so what do you guys expect for the future? What do you want the Patriots to do in the future? Because I got a few things on my list.
First of all, offensively,
say it.
They need someone to stretch the field.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I thought, yes, that was one of my points I wanted to get at.
I think that's first and foremost because we have way too many possession receivers. How many times do you see our receivers catch the ball and then just go down?
We're built very well from like the inside. Like we're built like our line is good and our tight.
That's great. I'm pretty sure Bill thought that Aguilar was going to be the stretch to field guy, and he's not. You need a solidified number one.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. That was my number one point. I think we need
to spread the defense out and then work back the middle of the field because it's going to open up more.
This is the year we need to go out and get the DK Metcalf, we thought when he drafted N'Keal Harry, that was that's what he was supposed to be, and clearly he's the worst receiver in the NFL. So Bill, swing and a miss. I don't know who needs to
There's 4.
Scout. Yeah, what?
I would say there's 4 receivers in free agency I want them to look at. Some of them are unrealistic. Devontae Adams, I don't think we're gonna get. Why would he want to come here? But clearly, I would love to have him. Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, and Odell. I know people aren't huge on Odell, but
Allen Robinson actually is
Allen Robinson, I would rather Chris Godwin only because he's younger.
I would too, but
those are because I don't trust them drafting a wide receiver. I know it's just with the 21st pick we'll draft a wide receiver. They don't know how to draft wide receivers. Go sign a guy that can play.
Our track record for drafting.
What I'd rather them do is use that pick and draft a young linebacker because they can draft defensively. They have no problem with that. Now I don't know.
Clearly,
I do not know who's coming up in this NFL draft to say, they need to go get this guy. I'm not, especially at the 21st pick. I don't know well enough. But I trust Bill and his team to draft a defensive player rather than a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah.
Go sign a guy that you can trust, that can play football. That is the big thing. The number one thing I want to see this offseason, move on from Josh McDaniels. Move on from Josh McDaniels. I want them to go get a young college offensive coordinator or someone that can open up the playbook for Mac because they held his hand for so long. Then they opened it up, and he looked great. But then even against the Bills, they shut it back down. And then when he needed to throw and make big plays, he was making them. Unfortunately, his receivers sucked and dropped the ball. Literally dropped the ball every freaking time. Let this guy do what he does. There's only one way he's going to get better at it, and that is opening up the playbook. Get rid of Josh McDaniels. I'm so done with him. It's over. It doesn't work. This isn't Tom Brady. You can't do a death by 1,000 paper cuts. You gotta let the kid throw the rock.
That's why I said you need to go get him a solidified number one because when he was in Alabama, he had Waddle and Devontae.
Yeah, and that's a 1 and 2.
Yeah,
that's
where he would get them the ball, and then they would make plays after they caught the ball, which is, I don't know what our number is for yards after the catch, but we can't be
that high. I agree.
Cannot be top half of the league.
No.
Honestly,
no.
And I think Mac proved that he can make the right reads and get skilled players to That's the thing. I 100% agree with this take. He needs a guy who's going to make moves outside of he'll get him the ball. We can trust that he's going to make the right read and understand who's open and how. And if we have a shot downfield, he knows to take it and when to take it. And
he's not going to hug exactly. He's not going to throw it downfield every time.
He's improved,
but you need a guy that can actually make those catches.
Yeah.
I hope they re-sign Jacoby Myers to a cheap deal because he was actually starting to make those catches. And not that I think he's going to be that guy, but if you can get him on a cheap deal, and he's only going to progress, that'd be great.
What would you guys give up for Ridley? Ridley's available.
I know because he doesn't want to play for the Falcons anymore. It's a whole.
Is he coming back though? He said he's coming back.
Yeah. There's rumors that he's coming back and that
they
I mean that's tough. That's tough because he's already walked away once. What's to say he won't do it again?
I would give up a second rounder.
Talent wise, he's. I don't know.
I'd give up a second rounder.
I'd give up a second rounder.
I'd give a second.
I wouldn't do a first just because he's like you said. He's already walked away from the game. And they said mental health. I don't know what that means and what aspect of why he needs.
It was just Atlanta in general.
So that was the thing. I
hated him.
I'm not happy. Which it's not to make fun of mental health, but
no.
It's a. If that's the only thing, what makes it? What if he's now? I don't like it here in New England.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he actually did. He play with Mac? He was at Alabama.
Ooh.
No, Ridley.
No, he played with Tua, didn't he?
Yeah, Ridley.
Mac might have been in the locker room, but he wasn't playing.
Mac might have been in the locker room, but I don't think.
I would easily give up a second for Calvin, but I couldn't give up a first just because he hasn't hit his full potential. And what there's no reason to say he won't walk away again. I'd risk a second, though, for a young receiver because we can't draft receivers in the first round.
Yep. Oh, it's so clear. Like that N'Keal Harry draft. I mean, like
Cut him.
Statistically, it was literally harder to miss on a receiver in that draft than it was to hit. There was like 8 receivers taken in that draft.
And
7 of them are studs.
N'Keal was
A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf.
Oh, yeah. Hey, actually, you know what's funny? Those 3 guys you named were after N'Keal Harry got picked.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. It makes it
the DK Metcalf one is the one that gets me because
any of them
I was
gets me.
watching
Debo gets me.
Debo
catches and then runs everywhere.
A.J. Brown grew up a Patriots fan. That's what gets me.
That too.
I was watching the draft. I'm literally screaming at my TV. I'm like, oh, we're definitely going to get DK right now. 30th pick. I'm like, we're definitely getting DK. I'm sitting there. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. This is going to be sick.
I have no idea who it is.
We drafted him. I'm like, oh, I'll go look him up. And he looked good in college. So I was like, all right.
He did because he outmuscled cornerbacks, and now he's soft in the NFL.
Yeah, and now, yeah.
He's so soft in the NFL. Cut him. If that is not the first move they make this offseason by cutting him, I don't know what they're doing. He's good blocker. That's not why you draft receivers in the first round. That is not why you draft them in the first round.
No.
You get them because they're talented and can catch the freaking ball.
I don't even think he's a good blocker. I've literally seen him.
He's a monster.
He's a big guy. He's a good blocker for a wide receiver.
He's a monster for blocking.
So then if he has value,
the only problem is
have you seen him catch it?
The only problem is whenever you see him like in the offensive plays, 99% of the time it's a run. It gives it away immediately.
Throw him a tight end.
We don't need him at tight end.
No.
We already have 2 tight ends.
No, I don't. If he goes, I don't give 2 fucks.
No, I don't think anyone in New England would care.
I'm just saying, if he can block, I mean, I guess cool. Like,
nope, because you're gonna have to open up a wide receiver spot if you want to get a number 1 guy. Get rid of him. Yeah. I do not care for N'Keal Harry. I lost all respect for N'Keal Harry when he goes, I want to get traded because I'm not getting enough opportunity. You don't get opportunity when you don't get open. I have no use for that.
My other point for this team is they need just youth in the defensive side.
Hightower's got to go.
Well, Hightower might retire.
Hightower's going to retire. McCourty's probably going to retire.
Yeah.
It's just
changing of the guard.
Yeah, it has to happen.
We did it with the offense. It's time with the defense.
You can tell the age caught up with him.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, dude, Hightower's slow as balls.
No. Hightower's been slow all season.
But he's just gotten even slower, I feel like, over
he was
the
slow
years.
when we drafted him, but now it looks like he's on a whole lower gear.
Which it's
I mean, honestly, no. He was a monster.
He was explosive, but he was more like, I don't know. He still could never really pass coverage. He was just hidden very well in the defense. I think, don't get me wrong, I love Hightower. I think he's a great player.
No,
I just think it's time. I also think he's a free agent this year.
Yeah,
so it's like, I don't think you need to go get someone young. Look. I don't know who's coming up linebacker-wise, but like I said, I trust Bill and the team to draft a linebacker in the first round.
Imagine if we got a guy like Micah Parsons, bro.
Oh, well, okay, we don't have a high enough pick for that. Also, you don't get Micah Parsons every year. There isn't a Micah Parsons every year.
No, obviously.
That's...
All this shows with Micah Parsons is that he was underutilized in college. That's what this year showed.
Somehow.
This guy's exactly. This guy's
yeah.
But also, we just need to stay healthy too, because Judon wasn't right for the last month and a half.
Yeah, that does not help.
Judon felt a little forced, especially back into this game. He was really good, but once he felt the back half of the season, he has not been the same.
No,
he was definitely dealing with something.
Yeah, he went from chasing league leaders to just out of it completely. So.
Which can really only mean one thing, that he's hiding it or harboring an injury that just no one knows.
It'll probably come out in the next week or so.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Another move I want them to make coaching wise, if they could bring back Brian Flores, because I don't trust Bill's kid to call the defensive.
First of all, there's not a hope. That means Bill has to pay him.
Yeah, there's no. I love Brian Flores, but he's too good of a coach.
Yeah, I know. This is on the wish list.
I'm not even saying that he's too good of a coach. That Bill has to pay him to make him come back.
Yeah,
Bill.
But that doesn't affect
Bill paying.
Although you say
that doesn't
look
affect
what we did.
cap.
Okay.
He still has to pay somebody.
Yeah, that's Robert Kraft.
He's not gonna.
Still, look at what we did last season too. This is a new Bill. Maybe he's born with it.
You see him smile?
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah,
I just think he's too good of a coach.
Coaching wise,
I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers fire Stanley go after Flores. Although,
like I said last week, they should have left that kid in the desert. So they should fire him and then go get Flores. Flores would eat with that team.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
well,
Flores wanted Herbert to begin with.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, he's not an offensive-minded coach, like at all.
But
He's
you don't need
phenomenal on the defense.
Great, but he made Tua look decent. You know how hard that is?
I mean,
Tua can barely throw.
No, that's just a misconception.
Yes.
No.
He can barely throw the football.
He's not. See, Tua's not horrible. Tua just needs a lot of help around him. I think Tua's problem is decision making, because when things break down and he's on his third read and it's not working, he just hucks it, and that's where he throws all the interceptions and bad passes. I think we'll see. Tua's still young. He's got a lot of time to improve.
I say to reel back into the Patriots in realistic form. When do you think they could be Super Bowl contenders again?
5 years. Because you're gonna have to draft. You're gonna have to draft defense. The defense is gonna have to develop.
I see our defense is close.
Who knows
though.
if
you're gonna
right? But J.C. Jackson's gonna want to get paid. I don't know if we're gonna pay him.
I think they should.
A guy. He might be a guy just because we're about to have a lot of cap space because a lot of people are about to go.
Hightower, McCourty, if they retire, that's
big.
gonna be a lot of money.
That's big money, yeah. And he's a guy. J.C. Jackson is, especially with his age, he's what, 24, 25? Just made a Pro Bowl, top corner in the league. Well, not top, but top 5. Like,
yeah, usually top 5.
Yeah. Like
debatably top 3.
I think he's a guy you pay. And then Barmore, that defensive tackle, I think is really good. We paid Judon.
You know
we
who?
have decent pass rush.
You know who I wouldn't be terribly upset they traded or moved on from, and I know it would be a quick poll. As
Chase Winovich?
No, offensive. Why can't it? Jono Smith.
Oh,
Jonnu Smith.
Thank you. I knew I was going to pronounce it. Jono Smith. Did not overly impress me this year. Hunter Henry was more the guy. That's not really the biggest move I want to see them make, but because I think that's too early to pull a guy. But if you have to make a move to clear cap to get a more essential piece, trade him. It's kind of a Madden move where it's like, we're just going to get rid of him now because the guy has done everything you kind of asked him to do. You weren't asking him to be the number one guy, but also I don't think he was totally utilized to his fullest potential, and that's why I want them to move on from Josh McDaniels because I think Josh McDaniels is stuck in his old ways and he's not opening up.
I would give Jonnu another season.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not totally giving up on him, but if they had to make that move to bring somebody else in on the defensive side, I would be willing to make a trade. But like you said, he's only like 26, 27.
Yeah,
I'm not saying like
he's still one of the best open field tight ends in the league.
Right.
Right,
I just don't
have to get him the football.
Agreed.
And I think that was the bigger problem. That's why my number one move I wanted to make is move on from Josh McDaniels. I think he's so stuck in the old ways and he's not opening up the playbook.
Like fucking Travis Kelce threw a touchdown yesterday. You know what I mean? Like that's the shit in the red zone. Like that's the stuff that like wins you games.
Why aren't we doing that?
Why can't we do that? I think the better question.
I think we can.
Exactly.
That's what
I didn't really put any. I didn't put a lot of thought into Josh McDaniels going, but now that like we've been in a very one-dimensional playbook this year.
Exactly, because we were trying to be run first, which I get, and it was working for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing is you have to bring in that number one receiver to make those things happen. But you also have to give the opportunity to these players because the little short passes, it's like that's great. You can control the game with these runs and that, but it's clearly been shown when you have to give the Mac the ball, you haven't. You played it enough, open enough where he can't win the game like that.
That also only works with like the best defense in the league. Like that's one of those things where.
And at one point they were, and that's why it worked on that 7-game stretch.
Yeah, I agree.
But now it's not.
You can if you can hold a team under 20 points. I mean, a lot of times you're gonna win ball games.
Yeah, 100% agree. Successful year. I think I agree with you. 5 years I think is realistic.
This was the win of a season.
Win of a season. Successful rookie quarterback. He's not going to get Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he'll be in running for it. Overall, successful year. And if this is the baseline, I only see it going up.
Agreed.
Oh, also, get rid of Isaiah Wynn, by the way.
It might be time.
He's awful. He does nothing for me.
I don't think it's a talent thing with him.
Yes, it is. It's a talent. He has none. That's the problem.
What do you mean?
He has no talent.
Are you serious?
He's terrible. He's terrible.
Injured, bro. He's hurt. He's all the time. When we drafted him...
and then when he's healthy, he sucks.
I think he's just...
Doesn't he always play out of position? Don't they try to force him to play tackle when he always played guard at Georgia?
Dude.
That's my bigger problem is when you try to get these...
They've been trying to tackle for, 3 years now?
Well, that's my
suck.
So-
A bag of suck. Isaiah Wynn is.
see. That's my problem is when they try to get guys to play out of position when they aren't made to play in that position. And I know for some people that don't watch football as close, they're like, "Oh, it's still the offensive line." It's like when you're talking about interior line to exterior line, it is a whole different game. Whole different game. That's why when you find the guys that can just move around the line, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's fair, but the majority of the time, you're just trying to stop one dude, and it's the D end.
Oh no,
And
and he can't do it. He's not wide enough for it.
Thank you.
I'd rather him play guard again. That's what I'm saying with Isaiah Wynn.
I-
Because at
bad.
guard, I think he's better.
He also, bro,
He's-
he's also like not on the field. Like it's just every time I fucking really get to be like, oh yeah, Isaiah Wynn. It's like, oh yeah, he's out 3 weeks every time.
It's
Yeah.
a combination.
No, yeah, and then he gets on the field, and like I said, terrible.
I can't. I mean,
He's bad.
I can't say enough. I don't see enough of him.
I got it.
My bigger thing
I'll
is-
do it for you.
My biggest
He's
thing,
terrible.
my bigger thing is just he plays out of position. I don't like that. That's always been my thing. But
I don't like bad players. So, Nikhil, Isaiah Wynn,
I've spoken.
Go.
But yeah, I've said everything I can
get
about
off my
Nikhil.
football team.
Goodbye. Yeah, that's all we have here today for Sports on Tap. Thanks for joining us on our little Patriots recap and what we expect in the future. If you like what we're doing, we do have a merch store. The link is down in the description. Also, if you like what we're doing, once again, you can comment, like, share again. Just keep sharing.
Share twice. Just
Keep
keep sharing.
Just keep
Share.
sharing.
Share.
Share.
Cher is my
Share.
favorite musician.
Subscribe.
What's that Cher song?
Do you believe in love after love after? Oh, I messed it up. It's life after
You
love.
did. You did.
Well.